All right. So yeah, let's discuss polymorphism. So we have four main points to discuss about polymorphism. So what is it, advantages and types, and how you achieve or how you implement polymorphism in Java. So a polymorphism is a capability of a method to do different things based on the object that is acting upon. So the basic point here is that you have got you have got a class or you have got a method, and this method can do different things depending on which object you are referring to. So it allows you to define one interface and have multiple implementation. So what does it mean? You have something like a sound, but this sound can be different depending on which object. The sound from dog, the sound from cow, the sound from whatever lion, it's gonna be different. So you can define one interface and have a multiple implementation. So we have two types of polymorphism, a dynamic and static. So dynamic polymorphism, it is also known as runtime polymorphism. So this is the same version as of a reading method. Because when you have a method overriding until the runtime, otherwise you can't be sure which method you are referring to. And the static polymorphism, also known as the compiler time polymorphism, this is the version of method overloaded method. So the key difference is when you look at the method of overloading, from the compilation you can know which method you are calling, but you cannot do the same for method overriding because they have the same signature, same parameters, but they are defined in different classes. So one is known as dynamic polymorphism, that is the concept of method overriding, and another one is known as static polymorphism, that is the concept of method overloading. So overriding method, you can also call it runtime polymorphism, and overloading method, you can also call it compiler time polymorphism. So let's look at this simple example or runtime polymorphism. So when you talk about runtime, what you need to have in your mind is the concept of method overriding. So look at this class animal with method void sound. Yeah, this method does display a simple message like animal sound. But also have another class called the cat, which is extending animal, and you have the same method sound, which is exactly the same as the method sound in animal class. So since they have the same name, that's why we do use this annotation. Annotation allowbars and the override the keyword with capital O. So which means if I'm referring to the object of cat, the content of sound method, I should consider this one. It has to overwrite the content which was provided here. So this is runtime polymorphism, because if you look at the sound and the sound here, they look the same, but you don't know which sound you are calling until when you create the object of either of those classes. Then for compiler time polymorphism, we have seen a method overloading. Look at this method called adder. So the method called add here has two parameters, here has three parameters. In either case, it returns integer, which is the sum of the parameters you passed, AB, here ABC. So I can know this is, if you compile whatever, I can understand which method you are calling, like even here. So 1 and 2, I know you are calling this method. So that's why you call it compilation time polymorphism. Okay, so as we did explain in the theory, one is the concept of method overloading, another is the concept of method overriding. So let's have like one more example, and can make another package here. Can make another package, and I call it polymorphism. So the package starts with a small letter, polymorphism, and so we can make it is straightforward. Just you need to understand the concept. So let's make a class. Yes, I can make it like a animal class. So there is no void method. I can simply do something like a public. I don't need even to return something. Just I need to make sure I get something done. There's a method sound or get sound. Doesn't matter the name you can give. And since this is an animal, I can simply say what is the sound. Output print line animal sound. Alright, so let's have another class. I don't even. Okay, so I need to rename this method because I will have. No, it's okay. I don't need to make it public. I can make it whatever the name. Then I have a public. Okay, I have another class, dog. But this class will extend animal class, and I will have the same method, public void get sound. But now if I come here, I will be referring to the what is a component. Yes, so there is a component because I'm missing something like a public class test. Okay, let me call it a test polymorphism. So this is the actual class, and what I need to do, I need to rename my file as a test polymorphism. So you can come here and simply do rename. I don't need to update any reference. No. This is the animal, so this should remain animal. So now, and let's save it first. Class dog extend. Oh, what is error? Syntax error on the token extend expected after. What was expected? There is here and here. That's fine. So maybe let me treat this again. So
I think it's the bracket.
so I think 1 2. I think we did confuse it because the
The bracket, sir.
bracket where because here.
On the extend animal.
Yeah, you are very right. It's here. This is a class. We don't need the brackets. Thank you very much. So now let's see the issue with the name. The name is still complaining. Now it's gone. Good. All right. So now when we come here, we be referring to the sound of dog. All right. So what is the sound of dog? Anybody to guess? Dog speaks English like asking you this question.
Sorry?
This is the sound of dog. So we can have a
Bike.
huh? Sound of dog. Dog says who. So always ask you the question. So now let's have like you don't know this. So let's have another class called the cow. And when we refer to the sound here, we'll be referring to the sound of cow. What is that? The cow will say simple English like a more. More. Let me write it the same way. More. Okay, since it is English, you can do this. And let's do one more class. The class of something like a cat. So what is the sound of cat in English?
Nya-
Try.
Meow.
Yeah.
Meow.
Uh,
Me.
the sound of cat we don't know. Oh, more. So what is? I don't know the sound of cat.
The sound of cat is meow.
You can write it now.
No. I don't know. It doesn't sound good, but
Leave it.
uh, eh?
Yeah.
So tell me the animals you know. There is a cat. There is a cow.
There is a goat.
Goat. What is the sound
Yeah.
of goat?
Meh.
Mene.
So you know the pig. What is the sound of pig? So in French it used to be like a nef. All right. So you can put whatever you want, huh? Just it's illustration purpose. Now when you come back here, we should have a public static void main. I've got a string and I've got some arguments. So now we are more interested into runtime polymorphism because compilation time we know we did the method overloading, we should not have any problem. So since our method has the same signature, same parameters as the superclass, that's where we need the keyword override. Just to overwrite the content. And we do the same for pig. We do override. Now let's come here. So now if you look, if I need to make a call to any sound, you can't know which one I'm referring to until when I define I create the object. So if I say what object, can even say this is the animal A, and we can say probably new pig, something like this one. If I say A get sound, A get, so guess what will be the output? So we get the output of who? So we are getting the output of pig. See? You see what I mean? So if you copy the same, it's just one object, but may come in multiple and different forms. So if I make instance of cow or instance of dog, so what you get, A1 here, so you get the sound of dog. So that's the sound of dog. Okay? So if you do this one like here, you make it like a cow, you get the sound of cow. But if you do If you do simply animal, so what you get? If you do animal, what you get? You get the animal sound, the first method. So what does it say? Let's go on top. You get this one, animal sound. So now let's run and see. So you can see. Okay? So now you see the definition, it says you can have one interface. So you can have one interface like this one, and you can have many implementation of the same interface. So it's get a sound, but when it comes to the dog, I can implement it this way. When it comes to the cow, I can implement it this way. When it comes to the pig, I can implement it this way. So I think that's it for polymorphism. Maybe we'll add more stuff, because some people will say, why don't make this class like abstract? You can even make it abstract, but we don't want to discuss this one today. We discuss it next time when we talk about abstract classes. Otherwise, what I mean is something like this one. You don't define it. Simply you leave it as something that you want any other class to implement. So it's complaining because it is not abstract, so you need to get it, you need to make it abstract like this one. And once you do so, even the class becomes abstract. So that's what we discuss next time when we talk about abstract classes. So you can do this, you can do it this way. What is that? Syntax error on a token, abstract. Should be abstract class, by the way, not a class abstract. Should be like this one. But don't stress yourself. This one also works, but we are not yet there because we haven't yet discussed the concept of abstract classes. So we have somewhere. Yeah, doesn't know animal. You cannot create instance of abstract class. Yeah, I remember this one. So I'm not going to take you into abstract class things. Maybe it's something that we can do next time, but you can see still it works. But let's reserve the discussion about interfaces and the abstract classes next time. Okay? So for today, you go with the concept of inheritance, polymorphism, and what else? And encapsulation. Okay? Alright? So now, let's check if there are some questions. Otherwise, we've been for some time without some work. We need to give you some work. And Bonel, what do you think about giving these guys some simple quiz? Because it looks like some people have dropped the course. By the way, you know the people who are dropping? Because we see we have only 23 students. Okay, 21 students, by the way. So probably other people are... this is the sound of cat. Wow. it's tricky. Okay. So, we can see people are not just really attending the classes, so which means we need to take attendance. Yes, Bonnie, I think we have taken attendance before, and some
There
have.
are some like when you who added after the first session.
I think this one can be the most important than the one we took before. So let me take it, and it will be part of the record. Okay. Sniping tour. we have a 24. 24, if you remove my name and your name, that means we have a 22 students. Okay, so we'll be part of the video, but also it's gonna be in our record. So this is our attendance, 24. So you guys remember to put your names when you come to the class, because if I save it as attendance,
Okay, I'm taking up Pavilion too.
I don't know what will happen to those guys who are not using their names. So attendance, July 11, 2021. All right. So I think we can. I'm stopping by here. Yeah, can you see some other people joining? Please do talk with. But we are not interested in attendance. You are coming for the attendance just. All right. So I think this is enough. So let's end our record here.